There's the horn, nose comes down, full power, RP'd off, 1 notch of flaps, let the airspeed get to a safe. To the mountain. All right, today we're going to go out and do some slow flight and stalls at altitude, just to keep familiar with what the plane feels like in low flight and when those stalls will actually occur. And that information is useful, particularly when you're doing STOL type flying for takeoff and landings to see what your stall speed. So with this aircraft, this PA-18-150, stall speed with flaps, full flaps, is 43 miles per hour, and clean is 47. That's at max gross weight. We're going to be less than that, probably by a couple 100 pounds or so. So we probably will be able to get a little bit slower. We'll line up here. Let's see how long it takes us to get off the ground. Here we go. Engine gauge is green. Airspeed's coming alive. Just going up 1 notch of flaps. Clear obstacles, not bad. That was a pretty quick takeoff. Gorgeous day out here. So luscious green this time of year. So we're going to climb to 3,500. That'll be about 3,000 AGL. Plenty of altitude for recovery for any type of stalls. So when it comes to doing slow flight installs, if you haven't done it for a while, you might want to go up with an instructor. Basically, you want to try to go into these kind of gentle. Don't want to be yanking on the controls. Low-level scud clouds over here to my northwest. I'm going to avoid those. Now, when doing maneuvers, slow flight, power on, power off stalls, you want to do them in an area where you have a potential field to land at if you have any type of aircraft engine issues. So I'm headed over in a direction of a area where it used to be an old runway. It's now kind of a housing development, but the main kind of runway open area is still open. Carbon heat's working great now, staying in position where it's supposed to be on climbs. Now we have our primary altimeter and we have our Garmin G5 here, which is meant for its really attitude indicator, but it does provide altitude and airspeed and turn coordinator, time rate. We're going to use this as our primary altimeter or altitude. So when this is 3,500, I'm pushing the nose over, let my airspeed accelerate a little bit, and then I'll bring my power back to probably about 2,200 here, and I'll trim it. And off my 12 o'clock is that open area kind of field. If I had any type of issue I could recover from. So first thing we want to do is pre-maneuvering check. I like to kind of do a kind of a inverted L or door to floor check. So I come down here, fuel's in the right tank, it's fullest tank, carb heat's off, mixture's rich, keys on both, engine gauges are in the green, and everything looks good. So what we're going to do now is a couple clearing turns. We're going to do one to the left. Clear my left. We always want to go to the left first because if any traffic's going to pass us on the, I'll pass us at all, but from behind we'll pass us on the right. Also looking at my ADS-B as well as looking outside. All right, now I can check my 6. Nobody behind me, coming up on me or anything. Come back to my right. Go back to heading probably 090. On this Garmin G5 right here, this is my turn coordinator and ball. So I'll keep the ball centered, and this little magenta line to the white tick is a standard rate turn. All right, we're going to do slow flight, and then we'll do a power off stall and recovery. I'll bring my power to 1,500 RPM. Put my carburetor heat on. I'm in the white arc.
Ready for traffic.
First notch of flaps. Second notch of flaps, add my power right up to about 102,000 RPM. And then I'm just going to let my airspeed bleed off. I'm going to try to hold this altitude at 3,600 here. Slowly bringing my power back here. Just trying to hold that 3,600. Ball centered, only going 23 miles per hour ground speed here as we speak. I'm about 50. According to my main altimeter, 41 here. We're at 45, stall speed's 43 in a dirty configuration, I'm 39. Getting slower, feels a little bit mushy. Holding my altitude. The ball centered. Waiting for the horn, 35 it says here, about 40 here. Waiting for the horn, we'll recover at the horn. .32, about 36. Holding it. There's the horn. Nose comes down, full power. Carb heat off. First notch of flaps. Positive rate of climb. Last notch of flaps. And then we'll level back off at 3,500. So again, we'll demonstrate one more time. Let's go into slow flight. Bring our power back down to about 1,500 RPM. Put the carb heat back on. We'll wait toward the white arc. Holding about 3,500. First notch of flaps. I put the second notch right on in. Add that power back up to 1,800. I just slowly let it bleed off. I'll try to hold it here, maybe around 55. Now we're going to make turns here in slow flight. We want to do very, very shallow turns. Half standard rate bank is what I normally recommend. Just very, very slow. The controls are mushy. Load factor is a function of your weight and your bank angle. The more load you have, the easier it is to stall, the higher the airspeed you'll stall at. So we want to take a nice shallow bank turn when we're doing this. All right, so that's my turn with slow flight. Let's go ahead and do the power off stall. What we'll do is we'll bring our power smoothly to idle. We'll let our nose come down like we're coming in for a landing. Establish a descent for a moment. Bring our power to idle. Bring our nose up just above the horizon, barely. Wings level, ball centered, looking outside. Holding it. Here, the horn will recover. There's the horn, nose comes down, full power, carb heat off. First notch of flaps, let that airspeed build up. Positive rate of climb, last notch of flaps. We come back to 3,500. So that's how we do slow flight, that's how we do power off stalls. So let's do slow flight. We'll bring our power back to about 1,500. Use 3,900 as our altitude, carb heat's coming on. First notch of flaps, second notch of flaps, add the power right back up to about 1,800. You want to get that power back in soon enough before it gets too slow in your airspeed. Here we are about 58 knots, about 47, 48 knots, 43 on the Garmin here, and we're just flying around in slow flight. So we want to do the power off stall. What we're going to do is we're going to bring our power to idle. Actually, leave your power about 1,500, simulating coming in for a landing here. Let's say roughly about 55 to 60 miles an hour is normally my approach speed. Once I've established that descent, I'll bring my power to idle. Then bring the nose right up just above the horizon, gently, just nice and gently, not too strong. We'll just do it to the horn. Wait till we hear the horn. There's the horn, nose comes down, full power. Carb heat off, one notch of flaps, let the airspeed get to a safe speed, pause ready to climb, second notch. And that's all there is to a power off stall. Next what we'll do is a power on stall. These are associated with takeoff stalls or takeoffs. The power off stall is associated with landings. And so what we're going to do now is a power on stall. We're going to simulate like we're taking off in a clean configuration. I'm going to turn back here, make sure it's clear out on the right. There it is. Don't need to climb, we'll get back down. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to slow down to roughly rotation speed. I'll probably make it about 50 miles per hour. And then we'll add about 75% of our power. We won't add all of our power because they'll be pitched up so high and so steep. It makes it like the airplane just hangs on its prop forever before the horn goes off. I'm getting us back toward that field. We'll go down to 3,500. There we are, 3,500. Heading about 1.7 again. Nobody out there. All right, so again, this is a takeoff stall or power on stall. We're going to simulate taking off. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our power back here just about 1,500. Hold our 3,500 as our deck, our altitude we're going to take off from. Hold our heading. And we're basically just going to let the aircraft slow down to rotation speed. I'm going to go right around 50, maybe 55 miles an hour, just to have a little bit of extra buffer. I'm adding a lot of back pressure with my arm here to hold this altitude so my airspeed bleeds off. Carbeat on for a moment. Just as I'm at this low RPM setting. There's a little bit loud, so I got to pull back a little bit hard. All right, carbeat's coming off. There's about 55. So we're going to add 75% power, probably about 2,400 RPM. Pitch up steep, up to about 20 degrees of pitch. Right rudder, keeping that ball centered. I might not even put that much power in. Just hold it there 20 degrees and watch my airspeed bleed off. I can feel that wind from the west making me turn. There's the horn. Nose comes down. Full power. Once I get a good airspeed, I'll start a gentle climb up to recover. We'll try that again facing due north or due west. All right, I'm going to hold 3,500. I'm going to put the carbeat on for a bit as I slow this aircraft down. Put the RPMs about 1,500. Hold my altitude and let the airspeed bleed off. Pretty much have a headwind at this point. Hold my altitude. This is my deck. Hold my altitude. Airspeed's bleeding off. Continue to hold my altitude. Airspeed's getting slower and slower. Keeping a lot of rudder there to keep that ball centered. There we go. That's about what I want. I'm going to add about 75% power. Turn that carbeat off. Pitch up to about 20 degrees of pitch. Plenty of right rudder. That ball centered. I like to look outside at this point. Listen for that horn. We'll recover at the horn. Our nose airspeed's getting slower. Hear the horn chattering. Nose to the horizon. Full power. Carbeat off, which it was. Pause ready to climb. And then we level out. That's how we do a power on stall. So that's how we do slow flight, power off stalls, and power on stalls. If you're going to go out and do these and you haven't done it for a while, go out and do them with an instructor. If you're a student pilot, definitely make sure you're doing them with an instructor on board. That was great practicing these maneuvers. I don't get to do those a lot of times. My own Super Cub, I find myself just going from point A to point B in this, or doing landing practices. But it's good to get out there in your own plane and do them regularly so that you are comfortable with knowing the envelope of how your aircraft will perform. We saw today with the power off stalls that, somewhere around 37 to 35 miles per hour before I started to hear the horn, just with myself in it and light fuel. Now, I still usually try to cross the fence, if you will, about 60 miles per hour, but slow down to about 55 on final approach. But I could definitely get a lot slower if I'd like. I may try it here on this landing I'm going to do. But again, doing this slow flight in these power off stalls and on stalls, you kind of understand your envelope of your aircraft's performance based on, let's say, the weight that you have in it. And now you can use that to your advantage when making approaches for landing or even takeoff situations. So when crossing midfield, you want to be at either pattern altitude when you're crossing midfield, or 500 feet above, then you do a descending teardrop to the right to enter the 45. But if you're crossing at pattern altitude, you want to basically do a midfield left downwind. In low wing planes, we'll always do a midfield left downwind. In high wing planes, we can do the teardrop to the right and come back down and descend in, because we'll have the visibility with the high wing so we can look for any traffic coming in at 45. On a low wing plane, you can't do that. Your wing, as you turn to the right and descend, is going to be blocking anybody coming in on the 45. So that's why on low wing aircraft, we'll just cross midfield and we'll do a midfield left downwind versus coming 500 feet above and then teardropping in 45. Laconia traffic, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo on midfield crosswind 26, Laconia. Laconia traffic, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo turning midfield left downwind 26, Laconia. The only problem when you're turning midfield left downwind like this, it comes up on you quick, so you got to be a little bit more on your game when you're doing this. All right, we're beam our numbers. We'll power back to 1400 or so. Put the carbine on, first notch of flaps in the white arc. I like to be about 70 miles per hour here for the first stage of this. Laconia traffic, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo turning left base 26, Laconia. As I make this turn, I stay coordinated, the ball centered here. Not to be too steep, 20, 30 degrees max. A bit high. I'm going to put the last notch of flaps in and see how slow I can get this coming in for this landing. Laconia traffic, Super Cub 816 Whiskey Romeo, turning final runway 26, full stop, Laconia. So here we are. We're at 60 miles per hour here coming through this turn. Nose is coming down, maintaining my airspeed, staying coordinated. Carbine is still on. I'm going to turn it off in a minute. Why I turn it off on short final here is so that if I need to go around, I have max power. All right, so now I'll start to add some power in. Definitely have a crosswind here. I'm in at 60 miles an hour, 48 knot ground speed. Got to get myself over the center runway. There we go. Just holding there at 50. Power smoothly to idle. There we go. All right, that was today's flight maneuvering lesson, if you will. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you get notified of my next video. But again, if you have any hesitations on these types of maneuvers, if you've been a while doing these types of maneuvers, you're rusty, make sure you go out and see a CFI, work with the CFI to do these maneuvers before doing them yourself.